Welcome back, perfect peeps, to Code with Coding Cat. I got it right this week.
Yeah, I think we got to call them crazy cats or something, though. We're still working on that alliterative.
I know, I feel like
term.
perfect peeps are still cool, though. I don't
They
know.
are.
Cool
Perfect peeps is good.
coding cat friends. Yeah, we'll work on it. I also have to do our intro still. There's only so much time in the day.
Exactly.
So we have a
You can put
special
that in the reel.
we have a special guest with us today. Tomasz, you wanna introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi. Good morning, afternoon, evening to everyone. My name is Tomasz. I work at Cloudinary and I do DevRel at Cloudinary, and I'm just flattered to be here, and hopefully I'll be useful in helping you doing some of this live coding.
Do you do stuff with the MD program? Is that why I see you float around out there?
I do.
Nice.
In fact, very soon, and this is me spoiling some of those beans that I'm not supposed to spoil, but there's going to be more stuff coming towards the MD program from me.
That's exciting. I've been an
Exciting,
MD
very
practically
exciting.
since the beginning, so
Yes, so you will see the updates hopefully fairly soon.
very cool. That's exciting. You had crossover with Tessa then, right?
Yes, I think we've worked together for about 2-3 years, I want to say. So
Very cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. So I always like to start our Fridays off a little more casual. Brittany, how was Netlify this week? Because
I always like to start our Fridays
I can't figure out where the echo is coming from.
How was Netlify?
Okay,
Oh, you know what? I think it's coming from my phone.
Zach.
No,
Okay.
it was playing on my phone. I'm like, where is this?
Sometimes there's a million tabs, no one knows.
Exactly. And
So I think we
was looking
decided
for
we're
a
in like
tab.
week 7. Is that
I
right?
don't know. Week 7, 8. Time is an enigma. It's blurred together. It's just
like
it's
the
all blurred.
Netlify diaries, isn't it?
It's great. Yeah.
You got another post out. I was pretty excited about.
I did. Yeah, I got a post out on Quick this time.
I meant to have this up and loaded, but we'll do it right now.
It's fun getting to see all of the new technologies and getting to work with some of the new things. I love Svelte always, but I like getting to try out some of these new things.
Wow, you guys post a lot. I thought you were gonna be like the second one, maybe. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, right. There's lots of posts going out.
Holy smokes.
All the time.
So the little quick JavaScript framework, as you all might know, I was at Builder until like this week, and maybe next week we'll talk about where I'm headed. But
hey, Princess here.
So Brittany wrote up this sweet Quick article. I think it's pretty cool. So if you haven't heard of Quick, it's kind of a new JavaScript framework that basically ships almost no JavaScript to the front end. And then once it's up there, it can load it. I don't know if you say progressively. That's probably not the right word, but
asynchronously? Isn't that how it?
I mean, as it needs it. Let's say that. As it needs it. So yeah, cool post. Good job.
Thank you. Thank you for showcasing it. Yeah, but basically my job, I've been writing a lot of blog posts. I've been starting my own stream. I've been doing like lots of different things. I can't even keep track anymore. I do too much. Salma asked me today if I got a break ever, and I'm just like, no.
That's such a bummer. Oh, Tomasz, how was your week? Did you do anything fun at Cloudinary? Did you write any blog posts?
No. So you see, Cloudinary had their big company get together nice. In a remote location, and I wasn't there. So so it was a very quiet week. I also got a bit sick, so it's just all sad news, really. So it's you better skip the update from my part. but all good now. All good now. We are, I'm back in action.
So in case Tomasz has to bail on us, excuse me. I've been sick all week too, so if I just cut out, it's just me coughing somewhere. So Tomasz, you are kind of further into the time as it were, so it's getting late where you are, and I don't want to skip out in case you have to jet later on as we're coding and miss out on a new training course you have going. You want to talk a little bit about this?
Sure. So, wow, you already loaded it up.
I
Excellent.
try.
So yeah, I run this portal website, whatever you want to call it, called Jamstack.training. And I basically record courses about various Jamstack technologies. So I think this is the course that I just recorded is course number 14. And it's actually there in the first one, Create Jamstack Applications with SvelteKit. So again, all these courses are for free, and then there's the latest edition. So I'm just using Svelte and Contentful, and then create a fun little app. I use a little bit of Cloudinary, and then we just deploy the whole thing on Vercel. So if anyone wants to get the basics, learn the basics of SvelteKit, there's a little bit of Svelte in there as well, but obviously I didn't spend a lot of time talking about Svelte. The assumption is that you kind of know what it is, but then you want to know, how to integrate it with the Contentful, and how do you add like images and stuff. And one of the cool things that I added in this project, and I talked about it in another podcast, is shoppable video, right? Which is basically you have a video playing, and then maybe it's a model walking down the street, and then they wear a bag, dress, a sunglass, and then you get this little bar in the video, and if you click the sunglass, then the video jumps to the second where the sunglass appears, and then just click it, and it takes you to the product description page. So that's added in there. Yeah, we talked about it
in this video. I'm
gonna
link.
Do you have to use the Cloudinary component to be able to do that?
Yes. So you have to actually use the Cloudinary video player, because it has a configuration object, which then you can configure to work with the so-called shoppable video. And then it also takes the other image assets that you want to put into that sidebar from your Cloudinary account. So all the product images are also in your account. So it all kind of,
that's really cool.
Works very well together.
I should add, I know there's a React component for this, but from the SvelteKit side, do you just use the native JavaScript component then?
So to display the images, I used we have this package called the URL generator, which is @Cloudinary/URL-gen, which is pretty much a framework agnostic JavaScript package, because we don't officially have an SDK for Svelte. But then, of course, that URL gen works with any front-end framework. So I use that. And then for the video player, that's like just a drop-in video player JS that you put in a script tag, and then that's pretty much it.
I think this might be a perfect segue. Oh,
just a second. I have to ask Tomasz how you create so many courses.
He does
you
look
sit
tired.
down. You
you just make time
to sleep. No, I do come from a technical instructor background. So before I did DevRel, I did technical training courses for various companies. So teaching has always been something I've been doing, and I just enjoy it. So
okay,
I just keep on doing
it. I'm wondering, because we're trying to create some courses for Coding Cat, and it's so hard to find time. And I think the type that we're doing is more like instructional, like step-by-step through the basics of the beginning. And for me, SvelteKit is changing all the time. So my intro to SvelteKit course, I'm waiting for like stability. I'm like, I don't want to go back and re-record these videos.
I know that. Yeah, there's a disclaimer in the at the beginning of this course that says, "Hey, this is beta, so just things may change." But then, there are some courses that I recorded maybe 3 years ago that probably not.
So you don't worry about updating them.
No, because I would then just re-record. Well, I wouldn't re-record the same stuff. I would record a new course using the sort of updated version of the tag.
Yeah.
But then again, if someone's new to all of this, then I think whether you use, I don't know, Gatsby 3 or whatever I was using, and now I think they're at version 4, or the fundamentals are still the same. Maybe the syntax is a little bit different, or you have to configure stuff differently, but the whole, here's how you create a route, here's how you do this and that, that's pretty much the same.
Gotcha. Yeah. And if anyone is interested too, Coding Cat allows authors to come on, and we pay you for courses. So if you want to come on, you get the full value for your course if you sell it on Coding Cat.
So I have 14 courses to sell. How much would that be? No.
It's all based on reviews. So
Watch time.
100%
So
of the 100% of what they watch, you get. So yeah, bring them over.
Nice.
We'd happily take them on. And I don't know. I got to write this blog post. Maybe Brittany needs to, but we are now an official GitHub sponsorship. So we got all approved.
yes.
Maybe
Nice.
I should bring that up. Let's see.
Yeah, we're trying to work on getting sponsors, making this thing like official, and
we got the cool heart button now that you can click. And it talks all about like how we actually pay out people,
breakdown.
the views you get, what dollars that represents, all of those fun things. And there's more to it than this, but this is kind of just for sponsor people to like read into and
get some analytics.
We got a goal out there so we can like pay our people, and as we get more sponsors, we'll move that goal up. So go click a tier if you love our stuff, and especially if you want to come on and be an author. Check that out and let us know. DM us if you like building courses, for sure.
Or blog posts or anything. Literally.
Yeah, let us know for sure.
All right, now it's time to transition.
Okay.
Sorry, I ruined it.
I had a good transition, but now that we've kind of diverged. So Tabach was talking about how they use the Cloudinary URL in their setup. And so for Coding Cat, if y'all remember from the last time we were doing this, and yeah, now we're getting back into the SvelteKit, Notion, all that fun stuff. We have a Notion page set up in the back end, and when you load different items up to that, so for our streams or posts or whatever, I think we've been showing off our streams, so we'll look at that first. So when you load those, you can actually load any image. You can just copy, paste, drag, whatever you want to do. And when you do that, it kind of looks like this. And so we dynamically create these images based off a Twitter handle. So the way that we do that is we actually run a Google Cloud function through Firebase. And every 5 minutes, it goes and looks to see if we have anything that we need scheduled. So that's kind of the first thing that happens out here.
I see why I'm confused now. I was like following the live share, but this is just our code with Coding Cat coding base, right?
It is, yeah.
Our Coding Cat. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is our Coding Cat backend code, if you will. So this is in Firebase. And when we schedule this every 5 minutes, it has the opportunity to go take a look and see if we have anything that's in this scheduled area that needs an image. So it checks anything blank that needs an image. So for
like
instance,
that one at the bottom.
This new podcast, I forget what Sean's is going to be on. Is this the view one? We'll just do it.
I don't know. It's on my birthday though, so we haven't decided if I'm going to be there or not.
Right. I remember that. I doubt you'll be there, but I will be. You shouldn't be.
That's my big. That's my big birthday too, folks.
She'll be 29.
Forever for the rest of my life. I will be 29.
That's right. So yeah, as we're walking through this, basically we have a bunch of pub subs that come off of this. So what I did, I created a topic that it sends out right here. So you'll see a send topic. The topic ID is Cloudinary create from Notion. When that runs, it then goes through and says, okay, go find this Twitter handle from the Twitter API, grab the image of that user, and try to generate a new cover URL. So when we take that cover URL, we actually have all this crazy Cloudinary stuff. So Tomasz, this is probably very familiar for you.
Yeah.
We do a bunch of transformations on this. And then the guest image overlay comes on, and that's that little image on the bottom left corner. And we generate that dynamically from Twitter. So we always can have one-offs. We had this kind of set for multiple authors, but it gets a little crazy on there, similar to like long names, like this one's covering up AJ.
If it's a multiple one, I go in Figma and just mess around.
So unfortunately, we do some Figma on those. So there's a couple things in there going on, but the main thing here is this nice Cloudinary upload. All we have to do with that is anything that takes in a URL, it can then upload to Cloudinary itself. So what we were finding when we were doing open graph images and stuff, even though we can dynamically generate that image, it looks terrible when it goes through open graph. So what we actually do is take this generated URL and load a full image up to Cloudinary as if it were the whole image. And we actually write that based on the current slug for that podcast. So that's kind of one of the first things that we had going on. More recently, what we've added to this is another pub sub. So now I take and look at all of our different backends that we have. So for posts or tutorials, whatever we're doing now, we can actually go into Notion, and let's just take a look at like a post, might be easier. So we can look at this test post right here. And let's say like I just went like this and copied something, and I can paste it directly in Notion, which is an awesome flow because like you don't have to do anything uploading other places. When you get done with that, you click this little checkbox right here, and it actually goes out, and every 5 minutes it now is reading for that check mark, and that's what this search does. So the promise all goes out for all of these different ones. When they all finish, it comes through, and it actually does 2 different topic assignments through here. So when one gets done, it's going to go to picks to Cloudinary. That picks to Cloudinary is going to both change the cover URL. So again, it's using that upload Cloudinary from URL, which is awesome. I love the fact that they do this because I don't have to download a file stream, upload a bit file stream, like all that messiness. It's all taken care of through Cloudinary. So we actually take and download all of the Notion ones, which are these, and they actually have timeouts on them. So you can only get these URLs for an hour every time they load. So for our static pages, that could break some of them. So that's why we push them all out to Cloudinary. The other nice piece around that, which we can get into the further we get into SvelteKit, but we also put a wrapper around all of our images using currently, so we'll have to figure this piece out, but currently we use Next.js's image component so that we get cool image, like it only loads when it scrolls into view. It does all the sizing dynamically, and it also taps into our Cloudinary public ID too.
Is that something that Cloudinary has a component or something for that we could use in SvelteKit?
They do have a JavaScript one. Tomas, you want to talk about?
Yeah. So right. So again, I'm a bit confused. But why use Next.js?
So sorry, there's
you're rewriting.
There's 2 sites. Yeah.
Our current site is on Next.js. We're moving.
And you rewrite that to Svelte. Okay, good, got it. So first of all, for Next.js, probably you're already using this, but for Next.js, you can configure the image component with third-party loaders. So if you don't want to use, the Vercel CDN or whatever they use for your images, then you can just configure it to use Cloudinary and other providers. But specifically, so as I said, for Svelte, because we don't have an officially supported SDK, you would have to use this sort of generic URL generator package, which essentially will only do one thing. It will create the final Cloudinary URL for you, based on the various transformations and optimizations and whatever you throw at it. But it's not going to do the sort of like the lazy loading or whatever. You would have to come up with the logic for that on your own.
Yeah, and this kind of gets back to, every time we talk about Svelte, like there's a lot coming out now and people are making amazing packages, but that's where React is so much further ahead because there's so many of these packages out there already. So we could do the same thing where we create our own Svelte image component, and maybe that's already in the works. Someone DM us if it is. Otherwise, like we can do all that stuff too, because it's just JavaScript again at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And it would be nice to have a component do that. But we are
I agree.
using the Cloudinary loader, and anytime we run into an image that is not using our media.codingcat.dev CDN, we actually take and just load a normal loader. So it just loads the source. So we kind of cover both sides of that a little bit.
Okay.
And so that's probably a lot of, kind of the long and short. As far as the blocks go, every single block gets its own pub sub, so its own function gets created for every block. And then it does the patch update back to that block, which is awesome. I mean, we can replace whole pages in a matter of seconds, really. So
then do you mind if I just have a quick question? So once you grab that image from Notion, you can upload it to Cloudinary, then I assume and I don't know if you have this already or this is something that you're still working on, but then how do you display that image?
Yep. So when it goes, so usually we're doing this during like the draft mode of a post. And if we want, we can take a look at all of this live, but usually what we're doing is we're kind of looking at a draft, and on our Notion, we actually display the draft in, how do I say this? Next.js has a preview of preview data. And when you load that, it will actually preview our page with that data. And once we run Cloudinary, we just refresh, and then Cloudinary is all of the images at that point.
Okay.
If we're in production and let's say we're updating a post and we want it to be immediately revalidated, we do have a revalidate endpoint now as well. So we can hit that specific post and it too will take off and just load our Cloudinary images.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Cool. Yep.
All right. So that was kind of our Notion tidbits for the day. And again, codingcat.dev is completely open source. If you see something that makes more sense to you, feel free to throw a PR in.
I was looking to see if I could find a Svelte image package, and there's not one that's current.
Okay.
Rodney, that's popular in the Svelte world, was working on one, but it's from 2021.
Ooh. I think so. In my course, it's not really like a full-blown image component, but I did extract the Cloudinary logic into a image.svelte file, which just reads, like width and height and public ID, and then based on that, it does whatever it has to do. So it kind of, extract it away, but it's still not like a,
that's actually a really great
package.
point, because we were going to do some like what are they called, the preview like data pieces. So like Cloudinary, you can hit the endpoint and actually create like a blurred version of an image too. So there's
like
a lot of cool things. Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of cool things with that Cloudinary endpoint you can actually end up creating. So you can just bring like a 1K or less image in, maybe bytes of an image to show like it's gonna snap into view, and then it actually appears. So
yeah, could we set that up in our SvelteKit site right now?
Yeah, we haven't. So let's review where we've kind of ended up. Let me bring it up and we'll get there. So last time where we left off, we were actually adding in UI or Daisy.
We
UI.
were fighting about atomic CSS.
We were discussing. We were arguing. The thing she says to me after these, I'm telling you, I'm gonna have to turn her in for abuse or something. Just kidding. We're totally friendly.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you know. Sorry, there's just. I don't know if you know the TV series and then later film Downton Abbey.
Yeah.
I love Downton Abbey.
Okay, so if you look at the film, so there's going to be a new one out soon. But if you look at the one that came out maybe 2 years ago, there's a scene where this older lady, someone tells her like, oh, why could you just stop arguing? And she goes, well, I don't argue, I explain. So that's all you need to know.
Was it the Dame Maggie?
I think so. I can't
Maggie
remember,
Smith. That's her name.
Yeah.
Oh, she's so good.
Brilliant. It's a brilliant line. Sorry. Yeah.
No,
I
it's
did.
all
Yeah.
good. It's all good. So where we kind of left off, we added Daisy UI in, and we were having a discussion about how to add buttons, but do it in a like svelte design component, design system type of way.
Yes.
And Brittany was trying to delicately explain to me because I wasn't quite catching on what she was going for. It was messing me up with how classes on Daisy UI wouldn't accomplish everything we were trying to. But then I got it like later on. Thankfully,
I sent
she
you like
slowed
a
it
code
down for
snippet
me.
too. I had to get it out. I wasn't explaining it very well, so that's on me.
So I think what we're going to do today is actually try to implement that button, and then we could probably go to images because the other part that we have is a list of podcasts. And the next step that we are going to do is when you click on a podcast, which this is probably broken. Yep. We were using a package called Notion to HTML, which actually expects public pages. And we're actually doing all of ours private. So we actually will probably have to create a Notion to Svelte type of package that we'll release out to people to create like these image wrappers and things like that. So
And another thing we need to add is a nav bar because us typing in the routes is going to get real annoying.
yeah, so let's work on those couple things. And Tomash, if you're like, man, you're not getting to the Cloudinary piece quick enough, feel free to drop off. You can always join us again too.
Oh no, I'll get the whip out and then make sure you get there.
Cool. So I think with that said, Britt, do you want to drive or you want me to drive? How do you want to do this?
Yeah, if I can find the code that we were talking about. I don't remember what I was doing.
I know for
Again.
a fact you Discorded it to me.
I know. I'm like scrolling through all the Discord since then. There it is. Okay. So, but I have to share my screen. So how do you want to do that? Are you following me or I'm following
if
you?
you want to share your screen, I can just share it directly in StreamYard if you want. Or I can just follow you around. Either way.
Screen to share.
There you go.
Good. I'll zoom in for everyone. So we're still getting that error, but that error's fine. So we're going to just deal with that later.
Yeah, so basically we're going to rip out this essentially. And where is our slug?
I'm trying to find the live share.
So this is the piece that will end up taking out this page HTML. We'll have to take out where it converts it right here, this Notion page.
Okay.
So we'll
How
just
do I
have to do
stop
block by block.
following you? I wonder.
Oh, good question.
I think if you click that, the same button that you clicked.
I clicked a different button because I was.
No, it's the one next to it. No, the one next to joined to the right.
This one?
Yeah.
Ah.
And now.
Okay.
Okay, maybe you don't. Okay, I don't know. I thought it would give you the option to unfollow as well.
But no, it's just got the two.
You know what? So there's a request others too.
Interesting.
If you click that share button or the joined button, it doesn't show stop following.
Leave, access, focus.
That's it, huh? Well, if anyone's watching and you know how to stop following, we can.
Okay, so
Otherwise, for now, I can just turn mine off if you want.
So in this button file, I did this primary, and I realized afterwards that primary was not a good thing to call that. I should have just called it type, and we can change this to type, T-Y-P-E, and yeah, all this TypeScript stuff in here is going to really get me. What did I do down here? So down here, button dash type, and we just need to do that, right? So that's kind of the basic version of it. And this, no, this shouldn't be a Boolean. This should be a types, and we'll create the type. Types equal to primary. What are all the types that we want to use? secondary.
Probably at
You
least
know.
those for now. We could probably do more later, I guess.
Success.
So
And
like a
so when you were
success and
saying
warning.
how would I do success and error the other day, so I mean there's like that's a good start. So those are the ones, and then TypeScript will now like only allow these 4 options, and will show you an error if you're not using that for one of these types. So
The other great thing I was thinking about when we were talking about this, it hit me. I watched a podcast years ago on design systems, and they actually put all of their analytics into this button component, which I thought was amazing. So we can do that too.
yeah. The other thing with this that you can add is like now we can do like let size, and we can give it the sizes, and we'll create a type for sizes. And those can be large, medium. And I mean, you can decide if you want to not use one of these, you can only use large and small, maybe, to show this off. And then down here, you just add the button. Oh my goodness, button dash $, curly brace, size. And I've got to export it. You can put export in front of each of these, but I feel like it's repetitive. So I like to do this little export object instead.
Yeah, that's
But
cool.
that's kind of the gist of this. I mean, we can do the rest of it later if we want to move on.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So now in order to use that button, we actually call the button Svelte component. We could replace the one on our main page, right?
Yeah, so we can save that file and go over to our main page in the home route.
You know what would be nice as well? I'm sorry, I'm just thinking out loud. What would be nice as well is to set up defaults in the button so that if you just call the button as a component, it kind of gets set up with like a preset, you know,
Yep.
like a primary, medium, for example, or whatever. And then for every other case where you want that to be different, then you would pass in the type and the size. Just probably makes life easier.
It does.
Again,
it does.
I don't know if primary is empty is the right choices, but you know, something.
Yeah.
That's a fine default for a button component, I would think. And
Cool.
then if you change it, you would change it. That's a great call out. So on the home route, we can update this to have a script tag, and we can import the button component from, and we're going to use that $lib/components.
I think you have to do the TS in the top to make it work.
Yeah, I do. Well, I'm not using TypeScript in this.
That's
so
true.
I don't. But yeah.
Will it take in your typings now though? If you like when you use button like this, does it know there's medium and large without TypeScript?
Let's see. Type equal to, or no, did I call it type or types? Type. Okay. And that works. Type equal to, let's do something random. Yeah. Because it's just the JavaScript
It
script
should
tag.
tell you which ones are allowed though.
Oh.
Yes,
well, let's see if we add lang equals TS. Oops, TS. What does that do? Same thing. It's changing some things, but it's still not importing the types correctly. It should. I remember that.
That's interesting. Yeah, we'll have to check that out.
That fixed that, but secondary.
Oh, there it's prompting it. So
yeah.
Now it is.
If I do accent, which we didn't add, it's gonna say that it's, but it doesn't.
I guess it says types though.
Type of types, but it doesn't bring in those types because we're not importing them into this file. So is that?
If you take out that accent and just hit Control space, does it give you those?
Control space. Give me something.
Doesn't look like it. Oh, yep, there you go. In the very top. Primary, secondary success.
Oh, yep.
Cool.
Well, so, I mean, we could do secondary there, and whatever secondary is, it will change it right over here.
Great.
Zoom that in a little bit.
Cool. So I think we can use that everywhere we want a button now.
Yes.
Let me take it out of, I don't think we need it in our other route. While I'm doing that, do you want to or I can look up either way. Daisy UI has a navigation and a layout, and we can start to talk about how we can do a global layout in SvelteKit.
Sure.
It's very funny because today was the first time I heard about Daisy UI. So
Oh, really?
and you just
I
look at
know.
it, yeah, I kind of
Beautiful
missed it.
package.
I don't know.
Scott
Yeah, it
Spence,
is.
who was in the chat a little earlier, loves to use Daisy UI with SvelteKit all the time in his courses as well. And I mean, I really like the style of it and the ease of changing the themes and stuff.
Yeah,
So
because I'm a big fan for Tailwind, and I used it in
yeah,
many projects, and it's just I don't know how I never heard of
this
Daisy
is
UI
like a
until
nice free
earlier
open
today.
source component library for that, because
Yeah.
Tailwind Labs is paid, of course, but
I mean, yeah, they also have like a few free components, I think.
they do.
But you know what I really liked about this is I don't know if you remember, how I think it's still structured the same way, but getbootstrap.com or whatever, the Bootstrap framework.
Yep.
Mhm.
They used to have this navigation, or very similar to that, right? So the alert, the badge, the card, the carousel, and all that.
Yes.
And this just uses that. So, if you come from that background, this will look very familiar,
Yeah.
which I kind of like,
It does.
it's nice.
Yeah, actually, it really does, because it's the atomic classes that Bootstrap
Yeah.
has. It's very similar. Now, what did you say we were looking for, Alex? Like layouts and configuration?
Yeah, so they have specific like colors and things that they represent, like primary you just saw.
Yep.
As far as layout goes, though, I think it would be cool to like we have our specific theme colors now and stuff. It would be cool to put the layout configuration at the top of SvelteKit to show people how to use layouts.
Okay.
Does that make sense? I hope.
Sort of. So you want to configure it to use like our colors? Is that what you're talking about?
Well, we can worry about the colors in a minute. Let's just talk about how, like, in SvelteKit you can give a layout for all of the pages and how that's done.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Like when you create the layout Svelte file.
Yeah.
So we did do that already when we did our Svelte add command. It created this and imported this app.css file, which is just our Tailwind imports here. So everything in this file is just the Tailwind base components and utilities that get imported, and then that gets imported into this layout.svelte file. And to have that show up on the screen, you have to have this slot. So if we commented that slot out, nothing would show. And so this slot is actually where all of the children live at. So what I like to do is bring all of my things into here and do like a main wrapper around the slot. And so I would do a header component here that we haven't created, but like a header here, and then create a header component. Header.svelte. And we can just do a quick, actually, let me do nav a li times, how many routes do we have? Podcast, just 2?
For now, yeah. It's just,
oh, Emmett's not working. You notice that CodeSpaces isn't working in here, or Copilot's not working in here either.
you probably, because you're in mine and I don't have Copilot, I think. I don't know.
Maybe. Href, we need a home route. Home. And we need I'm not even going to do the list items. I'm just going to leave it like this. And then we need a podcast, plural, route. Podcast.
And I think Daisy has the nav configuration, right?
What do you mean?
Go check.
Oh, so we could do a nav.
Yeah. I saw that earlier today when I was reviewing what Daisy UI can do.
/header.svelte.
Yeah, I think it's just nav bar at that point. So the way that, like, you described to me before, the customization of those, would you do a navbar Svelte component again for the like composability?
I probably would eventually, when we start getting more links and things in here, pull this out. Or if we put other things in our header, like we have on Coding Cat, where we have the avatar and the sign in and all that, I would break all that out to do a nav component.
Now with Svelte, is there any preloading that occurs like in Next? So like it sees a link and it automatically loads that JSON in the background. So
There is. So yeah, we would want to do the prefetch, I think is what it's called. So now we have our thing up here, but I need to find out what was the Daisy UI nav.
it's just navbar.
So class navbar.
Yep.
Hyphen bar.
No, all one word. Yep, you got it.
Okay. I just gave it some margin and took away all the padding. Why, or gap? Why did it do that? That's interesting.
It looks like they have some like buttons for their nav. Let's see what else they have.
Nav bar. Let's see.
Oh, and then they have a menu. So there's a menu option. There's all kinds of stuff in here.
Interesting.
So you can do background neutral, background primary. For now, we might want to just do primary to see like the color a little more.
So what do you do?
BG dash primary. Yep.
Interesting.
Yep.
That color.
And those can be like buttons instead. So you can, I
No,
think
it's not color, it's text.
So if you put class on those A tags, they can be class button. And then do, well, I guess that's the tricky part. Like now you would have to figure out how far you go with using your button tags and stuff.
So you want these to be buttons inside the, that's kind of weird, isn't it?
Well, they're just classes as buttons. They're still A tags. So
I know, but I mean, you want those styled as buttons in the nav bar?
Better.
I mean, that's the way they suggest it. I don't know if that's what we want.
They suggest it?
Well, that's the example they have. So
Oh.
they have a couple other examples.
Where do you see the examples? Because I'm on their navbar page and I don't see that.
Just open up the HTML inside of those. So if you scroll down to one you like, just click.
Oh, I see. When you hover over it,
There
it's just the accent though. So they match the button color with the background of this, and so you can have that hover style. That I wouldn't do it that way, but okay. So SvelteKit prefetch is how we do the next thing, and I'm gonna Svelte. Oh, that didn't type. SvelteKit and prefetch is what we want on these. I thought I selected both of those spots, but I didn't. And that's how you grab those links. So when you hover over these now, it will call for that in the, and I put these backwards. Oops. Save.
When you get a minute, I'm curious about how slot works.
Okay. What are you curious about?
So like when I write Angular, we can do multiple router kind of inputs. So you could do like in the middle, if it's this route, display this. If it's that route, display something different in the footer. So like a marketing page, you might take the footer away and the header away, and it's just one solid page. Whereas like a normal app page, you would have all of that stuff. Is that something that slots can handle, or?
That sounds more like a layout reset. So you would have one layout that has like the header and footer on it, and then you would have a reset layout that you would use for those routes that you wanted a different layout. Slots work, just think of it as that's where all the children go for that layout. So everything, every route right now that we have, even podcast routes, are going to go into the slot in this layout component right here.
Cool.
You can also have named slots. So you can give them a name, and then in the component you want to use that slot or put that content in, you just put type equal to the name of the slot.
Okay. That would probably get me like closer in my mind, because you could do like instead of doing a footer component directly on this layout page, you could do a slot called footer and like pass that in then.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I think you could do it like that. Yep.
Interesting. Sweet.
Okay. So I got the navbar and stuff. Do you want to take back over and start doing some of the other configurations?
Let's try it out. We'll
I love that the Daisy UI primary theme like kind of matches my VS Code theme.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that really flows together. It's funny on my one screen. It looks very blue.
And B1 said prefetch is so cool. Prefetch is very cool.
Yeah, that is awesome. I'm kind of curious. Can we show that off in localhost? What that looks like if I just go back home and inspect?
You can,
So if
and
I
you can
do,
see it, call it in the network panel, but you're not sharing, so I'm going to have to add
sorry.
you instead of me. There we go.
Thank you.
And we'll probably need to get either a different view or just hide
It's
our
probably
faces. for a minute.
this, right? Runtime paths, maybe.
Yeah, I don't look in this very often, so I don't know where it's at. But usually when you hover over it, you can see network requests being made. So if you clear your cache and stop and restart it,
I would also check the
now
at least
hover
this
over
is
it.
how I have that set up. Like if
Oh,
you
it's
do
on
disable
hover
cache.
at pre-caches, not on
Yeah.
load.
Oh, it's on hover.
Let's do this.
Did it do it? Yeah.
There you go. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's cool. I like that because it doesn't have to like load it. Can you do more aggressive style where if it's like showing or something, it'll load it?
I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe.
Just random questions from Alex, you know.
Well, I'm going to get the docs up because there's, like I said, a lot that I still need to learn with SvelteKit too. There's more advanced stuff. So
Cool,
that would be
cool.
nice.
All right, so it sounds like I'm hoping that you are still updating. Yes. Okay, sweet. So Brittany added this layout. We have this new header file or component up here. And we just imported that just like we would with React. So still mentally, I'm together today, even though I can barely think with this sinus cold. All right. So the next
So-
part that we are on, we're going
So I'm
to.
just reading in the docs that you can programmatically invoke prefetch,
Nice. That's
Oh, okay.
awesome. I love that.
but otherwise it's on hover and on touch on mobile.
Yeah, I was gonna say I love the fact like on hover for mobile you could load it. Otherwise on desktop I'd preload it. Like that's kind of where my mental model would go, just network bandwidth wise.
Yeah.
So yeah, it brought all this in. So these are our posts and what we're going to work on next. We could work on this because it's kind of a mess and we could show pagination, but maybe we'll get there when we need to. But the next page we want to show is this one, which is the podcast itself, which should still throw an error. So
Yeah, I want to see if we
podcasts.
can fix that.
So what we were doing last time was getting this perfect stream page HTML, and that's kind of where things went awry because we're using this Notion page to HTML, which they very clearly call out needs to be a public page. So that was my bad. Let's see. So get perfect pics at 0. That's our page. So if we just send back that page, let's say, yeah.
I just froze up, so hopefully I don't lose internet connection. Be fantastic.
I hope you're good. All right. So let's go back over here. Now we're actually sending the entire post back. And when we come into here, this should be more representative. Unused extra. Okay, cool. So I think now we should be able to do this, right? Console.log post.
And see what we get. But did you fix the public issue? Oh, you have an object there now. Okay, good.
The cool part now, because the way that Notion works, for those who haven't used it, everything is a page. It starts with a database and then a page. So our streams are all in a database. Every stream is a page. In order to get the blocks, you have to go into the page to get those blocks. So that's kind of the next step of where we are right now.
And again, like I don't think anybody can see it because it was under our faces, so I hit us.
Okay, sweet. So right now, this is all we're bringing back about our current object. So we have a cover photo. So we could do this in Notion. This is it's interesting. It has the V. Usually that doesn't occur, but whatever. So this is actually the card that we could create. So let's try doing that first. So in Daisy UI, we have card, I believe.
You even changed the theme of your Daisy UI docs.
Oh, I just whatever came up. I don't know.
Yeah.
What is
Oh
it?
no, not a light theme.
No.
My eyes.
Oh, I like synthwave. You know me.
Poor
Purple-
Tamash's
purple and
eyes. He's like half
Yeah, it's just, I
asleep.
was like, oh,
that was to get him to wake up.
yeah, it's like, oh,
Hey,
I'm
we
still
lost
here.
you. Come on. So this is actually a pretty cool card right here. Let's
Yeah, I like
drop
that.
that in. So in here we should be able to just do that, and that should actually just show up now.
Nope. We're gonna create a card component.
That. Okay, so Brittany says we're going to create a card component. So we are going to do in our components, we're going to do new card, just card.
Card.svelte.
Okay. I didn't know if you wanted to call it something else.
Oh no, card's fine.
So it sounds like we need some inputs coming in. So export, right? For import. Is that correct? Export.
Export for props. So
Or we
in
can just do
React, like to
what?
make a prop, like your React terminology would be to use export.
Okay. And then I liked your cool, like how you just export everything. So if we do
Yeah.
let, I don't know what we're going to change in this thing yet. They're so dynamic. Maybe like width equal 96.
Yeah, and I guess it's gonna be a number.
And then this guy will become that. Oops. Oh my goodness.
Yep, and like you could change the shadow, so you could have like a hover shadow.
So we do
Shadow.
I think you wanted to put W dash width, not 96. In line 7.
W, not W dash.
You do
Yeah,
want
because
W dash.
you did 96.
Oh, you
I
want
think-
width there instead of 96. You want
Oh,
it to be the variable
you.
inside of the curly braces.
That would have been a fun one. Shadow.
Shadow. Yep.
And then to be good stewards of the TypeScript.
Put your lang in there. That is
So
one
will
thing
this-
that is a little annoying about SvelteKit, to be honest, is that you have to explicitly tell it like what language you're using in each script, or if you're using Sass in the style tag, you have to do that too. It's
Can you do like snippets? Is there like a package where you can just always?
oh yeah, you can extensions in VS Code that you can create your own snippets for whatever you want. So that
So
would work.
did you-
What were you saying, Tomasz? Sorry.
No, I was just wondering if this is going to work because you set 96 to be a string. So wouldn't then the class be W dash single
Yeah.
quote 96?
So it
single
needs. I think it
Or
needs to
like,
be a
I don't-
number.
quote? Yeah.
I think it evaluates it though. That's what.
Oh.
Okay.
Do. We can try it either way though. It's totally fine with me.
I mean, it does make sense to keep it either a string or a number.
I do think it's going to be a string at the end of the day, and then the type is going to be type with colon or equal. I always forget. Still yours. There we go.
Equal.
Yeah. And I think it's convention to capitalize your type, right? I'm very new to TypeScript, so like I don't know what other widths we would use.
Do we know what the size
There's
is?
72, 64.
Oh, I thought you were going to say there's 72 of them. I'm like, nope,
No,
not doing
there
that.
are a lot of them, but they're like
There's
base.
all of them. You can also do
base
like
16.
1/3 and full and screen and
Is there
Yeah.
any way we can import Daisy UI's types? Just do it that way? That's got to be a thing, right?
I don't know.
So if you
Do
do
they have types?
import, let's do that from.
Oh, because you use the package. Maybe they just have types in the package. That would
I'm
be
wondering.
really
That'd be
nice.
kind of.
Oh, B1 said he made a snippet for it
Wait, what?
for adding the lang TypeScript. They made a snippet.
Where is
Nice.
said snippet?
Well, it's probably in his like extension that he made for
Ah.
himself.
Nice.
But yeah, but like I said, there's snippet extensions that you can use and then create your own for whatever you need it for. So you could maybe make a TS snippet that would just add the lang equal to TS.
Let's see if this actually works. Probably not. Nope.
No, yeah,
That must not be a typed thing. Nope. That's a bummer. I guess they don't have them listed. Oh well. Maybe we could put that in as a PR.
I was just going to say that. I think it's open source. You could do a PR, add types. That it would be a lot. And you could probably pull these types out into like a type folder too and extract all this code from your files.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you that. Maybe we'll do that. I think I started. Yeah, I have all these other ones for our other stuff. We
Yeah.
could
So
drop in there. Maybe we'll do a model called Daisy UI.
we're going to do a MV. Oh God, what is it? MVC Svelte.
MVC Svelte.
Model View Controller Svelte.
Ooh, it does-
Going back to the
Yeah.
classic days of 2002.
That's still like really popular in like the Node
it is,
backend world.
Yeah. I used it with I don't know if you ever heard of Cake PHP.
We didn't change it to @ yet. If you want to do that, we can. We can use
Okay,
my making pathing easier in SvelteKit article.
Oh, should we leave it in lib to stay?
It can be in lib, but you're using the @ symbol, and right now the default is what we're using, which is the $sign.
Okay, let me move that up then into lib, right? Like that.
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
I like that convention of keeping everything in the lib folder.
Yeah, let's do that.
And then it would just be $lib/models instead of @. But I do prefer @. I would change it, but you said you wanted to keep it
I'm trying.
as standard to SvelteKit.
If we're gonna do an advanced SvelteKit course, no pressure. We probably want to try. Oh, is it not default?
Width is declared, but its value is never read because you're not
Do I have
using
to import to export.
You could delete line 3 then, right? Because
you do need to delete line 3 because you're using it twice.
Thank you. That's probably the issue.
But no, this import is never used as a value and must use import type. Oh, I wonder if types are different. I've never used TypeScript.
I swear we were using that in other places, but those are in the TS files, not Svelte files though. Like here we're using types. We're using post. I know that somewhere. Interesting. Well, okay. That's something new. That's good.
That is, but it looks like it's working.
We did do import type there. Okay. All right, back to our card. Let's see here. So we can also do export type sizes, I guess. XL.
Oh, yep.
Medium.
You skipped. Are those the two you want to use? Is that what you're?
I don't know. I don't know what we're doing yet, but
okay.
I just figured I'd put those in.
Yeah. And we're also using that in that button component, so we would probably want to standardize those before we forget.
You could probably have that again all separate, right? So if you have things like the sizes, which then you reuse in a button and then a card, then you can just extract those into yet another file. Now you can have this, nice structure of your types.
We're gonna try. We'll see how far we get.
I was like, this could actually be like your own subset of the Daisy UI, because you get all of Daisy UI, but you want to create your own kind of design system off of that. And this is a way to configure that to your own liking. We're going to have to do our colors later.
Provide this out of the box.
I think they have a config that you can customize what you want, and you just have to put the config file in your tailwind.config.js, similar to how we do in our Next.js application.
But it's not going to be this low level, though.
Yeah, I don't think it has types though.
It
That's
doesn't.
Yeah.
I wish they did. And that's why I said if we could PR them and say, hey, put all these as types, it'd be amazing.
Well, that would still import all of the types, right? But this way we're actually specifying only the types that we want from there.
That is true. It is doing more of a custom version of them. But if we did it with theirs, you can actually do all this crazy TypeScript magic where you start to do like reducers and like use this and all that fun stuff. But
That's all on you.
I'm not that great with TypeScript, unfortunately. But we can work through it. For
This
sure.
is how far I've gotten, is being able to write like a simple one-line type with the or operator.
So let's see here. We are at this, and we're going to import. So we've created our type for import, and this is no longer a type, so it's import card. Oh, actually, we're doing default imports on these, aren't we? Card. It'd be cool, like all of these, I think, since they're so specific, to do a top level like export just a bunch of things from a single file, but that's fine. So instead of, did Brittany freeze? I think so. She's very intense if she didn't freeze.
Yeah, she's focusing.
Import card from
I can hear again. Everything's loading back up.
lib.
Okay,
I was just saying it would be cool if we move these not models to a single file, I think.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear.
I think
Yeah.
I might have to yell at my kids to stop streaming. Maybe that's what's going on.
Oh yeah, you should
Taking
always
all my
roll for
bandwidth.
that.
Stop stealing my bandwidth.
Okay, so I think, yeah, I forgot to start npm run dev.
Summer is going to be super fun.
Whoa, that got a little crazy wonky.
Well, let's see what happened. Can you split your screen so we can see the code and the?
As long as
Yeah.
people can see. Okay. Excuse me.
Okay, so let's look at our card. So W dash, what's that coming through as? 96. Well, you're gonna have to go down a little bit. I can't. Oh, never mind. I'll hide our faces.
Sorry.
Card width 96. All of that's coming through correctly, but
Do
the
we need
div
a-
itself is.
Do we need this top level to have like a max? What does card actually give us?
Well, we would put
didn't
it
have
on
that
the
before,
card
right?
itself. So it's just the full width. So it needs a max width. So I think in the card component, we can add a class.
Isn't that
of-
kind of weird though, that when we had this
In
over
the other
here-
file, it was fine. Yes.
I'm just gonna
So let's
copy
see
that
what
once and see.
if you do that.
I'm gonna do that and then do that. Oh, and
Now
then it
it's
worked.
fine.
Magic. So why is it because Tailwind can't see our new componentized things?
I don't know yet.
Tailwind V3 says, "Hey, I
Take
don't
that one out and let me see what was happening. It's just because it was like full width, and I don't know. Now it's fine.
Interesting. That would
Maybe
be-
it's the just-in-time compilation. And
That's why
it
I'm
wasn't.
wondering if it didn't
Yeah.
see it, then it threw it out, which would not be good for
Possibly.
this thought of componentizing. Eesh. Okay. That's weird because it should still build it and then throw it away.
Oh.
with-
Nobody could see the dirty look I just gave you
Oh, what was the dirty look?
because you said this thought about not about componentizing. So to not
I mean,
componentize.
action of componentizing. Sorry. She's really upset after our last one. I don't know.
I'm a little touchy.
I'm all for design systems, Brittany. I just was confused, I swear.
I'm just kidding.
Oh, I don't know if we posted this, but we should. Kids sucking up bandwidth. Not
Oh.
cool. Not cool, kids. Get off your
Not
Xbox.
cool. Alex, get off my bandwidth.
See how she yells at our kids and it hurts my ears? It's not good. I'm Alex too.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Did you hear me call him Alexander earlier, by the way?
No, because my
No.
ears little lit up. so we're to Tamash's like spot, I think. Now we can bring
Yes.
in a cover image from
Yay.
Cloudinary. So on like Next.js, where we have that cool loader, we should use Cloudinary as component, do we think? Or
I would create my, since we're doing everything in components, we should build an image component.
okay, let's build an image component.
At least a very basic one.
I've always wondered, do you guys, when you create new files in VS Code, do you go new and then later save it where you want?
No, I
hate,
never
like,
do that.
putting my hands on the mouse to like, okay, go here, go here, go here.
I think there is a key command that you can do that if you're on the right folder.
Anyone write it in the comments, even later. We'll see it.
I think one of the online code editors, I don't know if it's StackBlitz or Code Sandbox, because when you create a new file in code, you have to actually click the folder and then go a new file. Otherwise, it's just created at the root of your project. But one of those online editors, when you hover your mouse over the folder, you get this little icon to create a file or a folder where your mouse is, and that kind of makes sense. And I would love to have that in code as well.
That does make sense. Interesting. So we're going to take this guy out. Do we take the whole figure, do you think, or leave figure alone?
On Windows, it's Control-Alt-Windows-N. So that sounds, is that a hyperkey? Command, Option?
Command, Option?
What's the Windows key for Mac?
It would be the command key, I think.
Yeah.
Or maybe the option.
And then N.
So it's all the bottom, Control, Option, and Command, and then N? Like that?
I don't know. Mine is Control-Alt-Windows button N.
Control. Yeah, I think that would be weird. Does that pop this up, Britt, for you? Oops.
Control-Alt-Windows button N. It pops up that, yes.
Okay. Well, weird.
That's a weird key. Like my fingers felt weird too.
That is very weird. Why doesn't it like this? Needs to be string. Yeah. It's weird that it knew it that time. I don't understand that.
It knew it.
Like without this, it knew.
No, it didn't.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know what's happening anymore. All right, so that's like the very basic. Let's at least do some ally setup.
Yes, please.
And you could also simplify that even further, right? You don't need source equals.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So in JSX world, you have to do this. You can actually just do the SRC and the alt in curly braces.
No.
If the attribute is the same as the...
I hope they update that for React.
Well, it's JSX, right?
Well, I think JSX technically can do this. React won't pull it in correctly. I think. Don't kill me, people. I don't know.
I won't talk bad about React today.
Yeah, React. Okay, so we have an image component that we'll have to work on, like see if we lazy load. But for now, so that is going to go in here.
Oh, I'm not following you anymore. I'm just getting errors. Follow. There we go. This is still like the neatest little service, the live share. I love it.
I think it's amazing. Okay.
Type.
In there. So this has to be, so I don't have to do that even? Do I just do like, so this will become.
Well, where's your SRC coming from?
Yeah.
That's kind of interesting. So here we'll have to do something like maybe we do an image component, I guess.
Huh?
Or figure. Because we have to pass all the data for an image in to allow for it. And it's going to be optional, I would imagine. You do a
So
type of
this
image?
is your card component. I would think you would want this logic to be in your image component.
You would want what in your image component?
I would think you would want the logic in your image component for like the Cloudinary piece, right?
I think all that will be, yeah, but we're calling the image to show it within a card. So if we get image, we would show it. So like, how do you do, can you do image question mark? Ternary or no?
Yeah, you
Or
can do
like
a ternary
and
like that.
like that?
Oh no, you can't.
No?
That doesn't work.
How do you
I
have
think
to
it's
write a
React.
function? Like if image, give me the component, otherwise don't?
You would
I think you
use
can do it in a
templating.
ternary.
Sorry.
I would do a templating block. So if
I forget about
image,
that. Okay.
then you would call image
Perfect.
and if, and then you can do an else there.
Awesome. Why is it complaining?
Because image does not, image implicitly has an any type because you haven't defined the type for image. This image.
Yeah, you're giving it the image is your component.
Oh, so it doesn't know a component's type? Like the exports coming out of that? It doesn't understand these?
Apparently not. I don't know.
Interesting. So if I were to do this, would it work?
Who's got a cat meowing?
Yeah, she's annoying.
I thought it was appropriate on brand.
Yeah, that's true. That is really interesting how this works, I guess.
I just started music in my ears. What the heck?
Yeah, I think you need to define the types separately because it wouldn't.
That's a total bummer, you know?
Like it should just auto
Usually you
detect
write
the
a-
types.
Well, usually you write like a class, and then you have like all your methods and stuff like that, and then TypeScript understands what that class is able to do. So
But it's not a class.
we might have to investigate that a little more, I guess.
Yeah.
So let me bring up.
Also, image.svelte. Do you have
Why is
lang
there-
TypeScript?
Yes.
Sorry, say that again.
You do, okay. No, I was just asking if in image.svelte you actually had the lang equals to ts in
We do.
the script tag. You do, okay.
Brittany and I were talking earlier about how we, with our DevRel jobs, and maybe you run into this, we feel like we're blogging so much and doing videos so much that we lose on this like coding piece. So I love doing these Fridays so we can like keep up with
Just
it.
like hacking away.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's it's getting more and more difficult.
Right here.
I do kind of wish it would just come along with the component because that's really
It's
bogging down. That's my main complaint about TypeScript is it makes the code so hard to read and parse. That little question mark after the image is,
Wait a minute.
oh, that's TypeScript to make it. You need to do that in the model, right? Not in the initialization of that variable.
Yeah, I think this needs to be like, oops, undefined. Yes, like that. And then let's see if this works now.
Well,
Still
you
the
called your
component.
component image and you're calling your type image too. You can't have the same.
Yeah, I was hoping that this would work now that I
Oh,
understand
I
what
see.
the error was though. So this
I
says
see that it's
type object. Oh, it does see source and all.
Oh,
So type object is missing the following properties. Yep. So it did pick it up. All right.
okay.
That's so much better. I was like, that can't be true. So let's see. Can I do this still? No, because it's going to be
Well,
source is equal to post dots.
yeah.
Post dot. No. No.
Where are we at? We're in card.
This is
So
going to
You still
be
need to get post.
source is equal to image dot source. Does it understand? See, that's the intriguing part. So it's considering this a image svelte component.
yes.
So I was wrong. We do need that. That's too bad. Like I wish it
Right.
understood that image had these attributes coming in.
It did look like it had that. You have to put the type in a separate file, someone is saying.
Oh, that's not cool. Thank you though. I guess we
That solves it, but
I should have not deleted my generic. This is why we need a git commit every like second I save, I think. I got all excited and deleted our generic. Okay. Sorry folks. You'll have to watch me do this again.
okay. I'm going to step away for a second while you're doing that.
No problem. Tomas, how are you doing? You awake?
Yes, I am.
Okay, good. Technically, this probably can be that, although it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Yeah, it's because of this side. Oh, right. You can't do that. Oops. Not sure what that'll end up like, but that should fix this.
Animac. Timeline panel.
close.
B1 said. What does timeline panel mean?
I don't know what you're looking at.
Well, either B1 said timeline panel. VS Code now has the save history too. Saves my
Really?
panel.
Where's
Timeline.
that? That's new. Timeline. Timeline view.
Focus on timeline view.
Timeline
And
view.
then
Oh, no way. I didn't know that existed. Oh, but that's just
pretty
in
cool.
this file. Can I go to a different file?
and then Jean, I don't know how to say your name. Sorry, Jean something. Yes, I would
Hive.
love to be able to export types directly from the Svelte component too.
Yeah.
What did you say, Tomasz?
Oh, and I just tried to pronounce his name as well. But
Is it John
I just didn't know.
Ives?
I think it's Jean Ive.
Jean Ives. I wish I could speak French, I'm assuming.
Just hung out with some French people. I should be on the ball on this. All right, so we have our card component. Source is complaining. Source string, alt string is not assignable. This has to be an image. How do we pass a multi thing to a thing? So if I do image equals, and then can I send in a object? No.
I mean, you can send in any kind of JavaScript, but why are you sending in?
This needs to be an object.
So what does the image component look like? Again, what are your props?
So
not in your image, in your card.
Yeah, when we go into card, the prop for image is going to be our image model, which is
an object of, yes. So you can send it in like that. You should be able to.
I think it's
Except
only
it's complaining for the
alt unexpected.
Oh, because it's an object, right? So you need a
Oh yes.
Comma.
Oh
there
boy,
you go.
it's French.
Now source is
something that's,
complaining. Shorthand properties.
No, it's still an object. We'll get there.
My goodness.
We'll get there. All right.
And now Image is complaining.
Width. Oh, I think we just need the rest. So, so how do we do optional types up here? So can widths be undefined or undefined?
I think you can do it there, or you can do it in the models for your types. You're asking me TypeScript questions. I don't know.
Okay. I think that's...
I think I answered it correctly. Jean-Yves. Is that how we say it?
Jean-Yves.
Jean-Yves.
Sorry, John. We're like pronouncing your name terribly wrong, but
I'm
we'll try.
horrible American.
So what do we have? Type image source string alt string is not assignable to type intrinsic attributes and width or undefined. Property image does not exist on type. So are we not exporting something? That's what it feels like. Yep.
Oh yeah, shadow and image. Yep.
Yahtzee. Okay.
Nice.
Tamash, do you have Yahtzee?
Do you know what Yahtzee is?
No.
It's a dice game. You play with 5 dice, 1
Die.
5 dice, and you
Nice
try
dice,
to try to get like straight. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or like a pair or 2 pair. It's fun game.
It's like a card game, but a dice game.
And Yahtzee is when you get all of them the same.
Yahtzee.
And then you have to shout Yahtzee. All right. Well.
Okay, so this is the very generic version of our card, which should come back correctly. We'll refresh and make sure it's doing the lorem ipsum, so it's changing the image each time. Now we should be able to change this out.
Oh, you were using an API. I have never seen that.
That is a cool one. If you ever write that one down.
So if you're already in JavaScript, you don't want to use curly braces there. You want to use backticks if you're going to do a string interpolation thing.
So we're going to do backticks, and we're going to do post dot cover dot, oh my gosh, stop it.
Mine has been so bad lately about auto-populating things that I don't want. It's like, stop. If you're not going to be helpful, just don't.
So if we're doing this nicely.
Now you need a question mark. Yep.
This.
The nullish coalescing.
Oh, good word usage. I like it.
Nice. Yeah. So come on, don't do stuff.
Yeah, let's go just add. I think I actually have this now in ours. So let me just open CCD up and go directly to post.
God, you do that so fast. I don't know all the key commands to do what you just did.
I don't either.
You just did it. How do you not know it? You just like in your brain, you know them, and it's like habit.
It's muscle memory, isn't it?
It's muscle. There you go.
No, I actually do it kind of the slow way, but if you just Command P or whatever.
You didn't have to put that in a. I'm just thinking. You didn't need to put that in the template literal string, right?
It just automatically.
Yeah, you're already in JavaScript. You're not using a variable.
Oh, okay,
yet.
maybe not.
Yes. So we actually want to do something about. The fun part is we should allow this in our card to also say, "Oh, this is dirty," because we almost want to say in our image we'll allow that to come through as well, but realistically, just for sake of me not going crazy, if we check this, we could go. So I gotta remember your syntax. It's pound if, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we go that. So if not this, right?
Yeah.
Not that, we're gonna do the same card, and then else happens after or within.
No, inside that, and you're gonna do like above that. I'm sorry, inside the markup. There you go. And then your curly braces, colon, else,
Oh man.
and then space if.
Oh my goodness. That.
Or wait, are you doing?
Oh
Are you
no,
doing?
no if, just else.
Okay, yeah, never mind.
Okay. So we'll drop that in, but so actually we'll do it the right way. So if it does exist, we'll throw it through. If it does not exist, we'll just do a card without an image, and then we'll update our card.
Okay, I was wondering where you were going with that.
That should be okay. It says it's not, but it should allow.
Because the width.
Oh,
that colon else is a little
My bad.
confusing too.
No, it should be all right, right? All of these can be on it. Undefined, undefined, undefined.
Yeah, it should be able to have no image.
Widths.
Type image is missing. Property image is missing. But required in type width. Where's the type for width?
No, it's in any of these, in all of that image here.
Oh, okay. That's where it's looking for it, but it says or undefined.
That's so weird to me that, like, I keep thinking this should be that, but it doesn't like it. I wonder if
because that's not your type. That's your variable initialization. So that's JavaScript. Your type is where you would do that, right?
But the type says undefined, so it should be fine. Interesting. Image is missing, but required. It's not required though. How is this with question mark coming through and shadow question mark?
Where is that at?
Oh,
from right there.
I wonder if that's defined in those, like you said. Do you have a question mark? No. Where is it getting that question mark from? Maybe it's because it's equals undefined. Yep, that was weird. So I guess you have to initialize your variables.
Oh, with a default value. Is that what we needed?
Yeah, I guess so.
Interesting.
So actually, it's this we can throw through as well. And this, we'll do title because this isn't going to come through. Properties. Oh my gosh, title sucks. It's like name.
Oh, this is where we get into the JSON.
I don't know. I'm just gonna
hell of like nesting.
I'm just gonna put title for now and see how it goes. Okay. All right. Let's cross our fingers. Hey, woo!
Cool.
So this should be a Cloudinary image.
That worked.
Nice.
And because I was so nice to release our CDN to the world, it works everywhere. So you can technically lock down media.codingcat.dev to only work on our site, but I found that a little painful.
Oh, because you wouldn't be able to use it on this site if you had done that.
Correct. Right. Yep. So we got a little further. I think that's pretty cool. We're trying to stick to 90 minutes at a time, and we're getting close to that. Any?
So I tell you what I would change.
Yeah, tell us.
So you know how you pass in the entire source, the source URL for your image.
You mean for the image component?
Pardon? Yeah, for the image component. Yeah.
Okay.
So what I would do is, as opposed to pulling in the source, I would just grab the public ID.
Yep.
If you, I don't know if you store that separately.
So the interesting part on Notion, we have to give it the full URL, but I do separate out the public ID when we're parsing that data. So we rip out like I do a loop down to our actual folder name, so it has it.
Okay, because if you pass in the public ID, then it means then you can use the Cloudinary URL generator to generate the actual Cloudinary URL. And
Yeah,
then
and
you could
start
then
doing
put
web
the F autos and Q autos and all that optimization in your image component, essentially.
Yeah, that is a great point. Or just throwing this out here, since I do all that for looping and nonsense up there, if we detect that it's a Cloudinary in our image component, we could do it there too, like directly in our component.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because that would, that would give you a lot of, I mean, even if you just take the URL that you showed in the browser just now.
Yep.
So, and you said this is coming from Cloudinary, right? So if you,
so the actual URL comes from Notion, but yes, the image is then delivered. So like if we took out all of this stuff, that's the actual image. And then what Tomasz is saying is if we do Q auto, F auto, we'll get our AVIF format back.
or whatever format Cloudinary deems to be the best one.
Yep.
And if you check the network panel, this is where things get exciting. So if you just, I can't see the values, but if you thank you, if you refresh and you select your image and look at the, so this is what, 66.6 kilobytes. That's a funky number.
Yes.
But yeah, so it's 66 kilobytes. If you just go back and check the request without F auto and Q auto.
Yep.
Then
I was
let's
gonna
see.
say it should show us what type came through as well, right?
Yeah, if you go into, it's the content
Right
type
here.
image AVIF. Yeah.
Yeah, so you see our AVIF, because I don't know if this is fully public or not yet, but we were on the beta program for AVIF to come through.
Yeah.
And then
And
if I
then if you just
remove
delete
this,
those,
it should go
then we
to
should
JPEG.
get a larger file. You see, it's nearly twice. Actually, it's more than twice
You
the
can see
size.
the image/JPEG there.
Yeah. And
And
it's
then
100
the
and
cool part, like if you look on our main site where the Next.js is actually doing this, for those who are interested, when you look at this one, it does a lot more than just that. So you'll see a full image come through with all the different breakpoints. So 640 gives you this image back, so it's much smaller.
yeah.
When you're on a smaller device, it'll pick this up, and as you see in the F auto C limit, it goes down to a width of 640, and then you still get the Q auto. So this is still going to bring a AVIF back, but not nearly as big. So the network for this one should be quite small.
Yeah. And Cloudinary has a generator for this, by the way.
Yeah. So that's the
responsive generator.com, I think.
Yeah. So for our sake, would you recommend, like, if we had to take a full URL, would you just do that on the server side and do the Cloudinary URL creator type of thing?
Yeah.
And then just load that, and then statically we could display it just based on those two items.
Yeah.
That's
what I did in my course as well, right? You just use that URL generator, and then you basically, the entire Cloudinary feature set is available at your disposal using that SDK, using that package. And so the last thing that you do is, let me just say, I think you just call a .to URL, and it will, based on all your settings and all your, parameters and transformations and optimizations that you programmatically created, the final thing is, generate me the full URL. And if we just give you
kind of piece everything together that you
yeah.
So we finally got to the part that was the really cool part for Cloudinary. So maybe we need to have Tomasz, and maybe we could get Mr. Fayok on as well, and bring in the whole Cloudinary gang, and maybe at the end of 90 minutes we could actually have a Svelte component for Cloudinary images. What do you think?
Yeah, that would be nice. Yeah, we can do that. I'll leave you with one more thing, because I think I heard you mention lazy loading of images, and this has come up quite recently in many discussions that I had with people. Core Web Vitals is obviously a thing, and it's a big thing these days for multiple reasons. And one of the metrics that they look at is the largest contentful paint, right? And most of the time, the largest contentful paint or the largest element that you load on your page is going to be an image. And so what I'm going to say now is, it's not going to be true for every scenario, but if your largest element on the page is an image, do not lazy load that.
Yep, agreed.
Because a lot of people say, well, okay, I'm just going to lazy load this. And then what happens is, because remember, the browser is going to wait for everything to load that's in the viewport, and then it's going to measure the time your application took to load whatever the largest piece of element is. And so if that's the image, and now you lazy load that image, you're just going to shift that LCP score even further out. So just make sure that your LCP is not an image. If it's an image, then optimize it and do all sorts of things to it, but do not lazy load it.
Yep. We do, what's the progressive, I think is primary. I don't remember. We set ours for the top image that we show.
Okay.
That's the main focus for the download. So
okay.
That's because it's the LCP. It's always our top image, almost takes the full fold type of thing. So yeah. We have a nice note here. Let's do a hackathon. I like it. So we kind of do a 90-minute hackathon every Friday. Feel free to join us. DM me, DM Brittany. We'll hook you up with the stream link directly to StreamYard, and everyone can join, and we'll share out the VS Code. So
we'll have to do like a longer one sometime, like a long raid,
really cool.
raid-a-thon.
Especially with a set focus like that, where it helps the broader community, where we're doing kind of like, hey, let's create a Svelte component for images, just like Next.js and Gatsby. Cool.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Well, any last minute thoughts? I think we kind of did all of our fun stuff at the beginning this time.
I think you need to remember to do a git push before we end.
Yes, I'll do it right now. I think I want to start ending these, even though I'm, coding cat person. I love Basset Hounds, so I'm going to show off every Friday's Basset Hound.
Oh, nice.
Oh.
So that's going to be my ending from now.
Very cute. I think maybe next Friday we can work on getting a live site. So deploy to Netlify next Friday, and then have a live site, and we can work on more.
Cool. Do you want to do that offline and get the on and just show them how we did it? Or just, I'm thinking about keys and things. So.
No, because we can use the Netlify CLI and import our environment file without showing it.
Awesome. Yep.
I think we'll do that.
Perfect. All right. Well, let's get 2 things on the books. So next week we'll get the site live on Netlify. I don't know why Netlify. I don't know why I have to use them, but and then
maybe someone is a little bit biased.
I'm a little biased.
Maybe. If we schedule out a little further, maybe we can get the Cloudinary crew on, and we'll create a Svelte component.
I think I was a little biased before I worked there too, though. I've used them for a while.
Yeah, I like the majority of them.
It's a cool company.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for joining Code with Coding Cat. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for having me. Take care.
Ciao.